Hey, Kelsey, Norm MacDonald here. So, you have a podcast, huh? Fantastic. You know what I always say? You know what the world needs more of? Podcasts.
Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, The Kelsey Hudgins Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, indeed. Brother Norm MacDonald here letting us into this show. We have brother Joel Jimenez out there, ladies and gentlemen. Joelberg. What up, Joelberg?
Oh yeah, how's it going, man? How are you?
It's going fantastic, man. Let me bring you down a little bit on that volume.
I'm gonna figure out this window real quick. I know we did all this prep, and then here I am fucking it up.
No, you're good, man.
I just wanted some more light. Okay, cool. All right, we're good.
Yeah, you're good, man. So how are you going? How's it going, man? Are you doing good?
Yeah, dude, it's going well. Doing a little bit of cooking today. That's been nice. Sort of like, it's been good, man. I've been thinking about it, my mental sort of state, and I'm more positive than I am.
Oh, that's good, man. I'm sorry. I had screwed up my my audio output there a little bit. But got you now. Sorry.
Unless that's on my side, I don't think so.
No. That was totally me.
All
I'm
right.
the one that fucked up.
Let's fucking start it over, dude. Let's do it all over again.
Hey, Red Band, can we do this again? How is this nonsense? How has this nonsense affected you?
It'd be so funny if
Oh my God!
everything fell
Oh,
behind
God.
you and it all. There you go.
This is live, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it live. Tony Hinchcliffe. Okay, so I want to ask this question: Does Tony really get upset, or is it mostly when we're like, all right, it's a live show, ladies and gentlemen, or is that just like?
Yeah. Nah, he's not. I think he's a huge pro wrestling fan, so I think he likes to like lean into that, like the heel, and he realizes that these like sort of strong emotional choices are good for the show and sort of like push the momentum of it all. He's also got the hardest job probably,
right,
or one of all of us, because he's got to kind of control the pacing, be funny, interview everything, like and keep track of it all in his mind all at once. So no. Tony's a lot sweeter than anybody thinks, or that anybody would ever know, because he doesn't talk about the nice things he does. He just you don't talk about it, he'd be about it.
Yeah, cool, man. That's a good thing to know, man. He seems like, okay, we've got it now. I fucked all this stuff up. I hit a gravity bong right before we got started, so.
Great job.
Probably
nice.
should have done that. Let's blame it on that bitch, Carol Baskin.
That's right. It's her fault. Everything's her fault at this point.
Fuck yeah, it's her fault. So, we were talking just a little bit before we got started about anxiety and whatnot. So, I also battle immaculate anxiety in every occasion. So and I'm also a performer too. I'm a musician in Myrtle Beach here. So being someone with anxiety who is also a performer like yourself, how do you wrestle that demon along with everything else that you have to do as far as performance and stuff like that?
It's interesting, man. A lot of times I think the real anxiety that's a problem to me doesn't come on stage. It's like that's shit that happens when I wake up in the morning, when my whole day is going on. The type of anxiety with the show is a little bit more of like the pressure of like wanting to perform at a high level, wanting to like give people their money's worth, wanting to sort of like always be better. But the real tough battle at times is like not taking your daily anxiety with you onto the stage. So it's just basically checking in with yourself before it's time. But the cool thing about Kill Tony is it starts at 8 on Monday no matter what. So once he says we got a band, this feeling kind of takes over you where you're like, all right, we have a job to do, let's do it. And it's helped. I've had my moments where maybe I'm going through stuff in everyday life and I'll have a couple seconds, but usually the power of the show sort of, it's a few hours to forget about all of that. And then once the show's done, you can get back to it, I guess. But usually my highest anxiety comes in the mornings. It used to hit me real hard the day after the show because the show is so heightened that there's nowhere to go but down. Like, it's the greatest night of your life. Monday's Comedy Store, like, all your friends are there. You're having such a blast. The shows are so insane and so much fun that the next day you're bound to wake up sort of sad because you're just never going to live up to that,
And do you do these things where you'll feel like, oh shit, there was this thing that I could have done and I didn't do it? And
all the time, yeah.
Dude, I'm so bad about that. It's almost like the servers have these things where they're laying in bed and they're like, "Fuck, I forgot to bring that table to ranch or whatever." And I do the same thing. Like, shit, this person asked for this song and I totally forgot to play it or whatever it was.
I used to be a server and I would forget people's shit all the time, and that was stressful, dude. The kitchen fucking hates you at that point.
Yeah.
If you want to be a successful server, have the kitchen like you.
Right.
I got fired, because like the kitchen, I would just forget everything and then I'd run over there and be like, "Can you guys do this for me, please? Like now, like get that one out first, whatever," because I forgot.
Yeah.
And it was like a disaster. But I used to have those moments a lot. I've stopped kind of watching the show, like for the last maybe I'll revisit certain moments, but I would say for the last 2 years I don't really watch the show once it's over.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's hellacious to go back and watch everything. And it'll start getting into your head and you'll start self-censoring before. And where when I first got on the show, I used to come home and just like love sort of taking it in. So, sometimes I like watching it because, and I've said this to multiple people, when the show's over, I don't really remember a lot of it because I'm so in this like, for lack of a better term, like survival mode while it's going on, because it's going. You're so concentrated on everything that afterwards you sort of forget a lot of it. I do.
Yeah, dude, I hear you, man. That's pretty intense because you guys, the whole live aspect of that is, I don't know. You got a lot of history in the rooms that you're in, and a lot of like you're basically like you're playing to the ghosts of everybody that stood there before you, basically. And I say playing, I mean performing for.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. There's that. That is at times it's never lost on me. I'm always super grateful to be there. I think that at times that's very helpful to our self-esteem. At least for me, it's like, wow, like I feel so lucky and privileged to be there. And sometimes it's more of like an armor than like anxiety sort of thing. That aspect of it, like the history of the building is a bit of a shield at times rather than a detriment to me being to how I feel.
Yeah, man, that's pretty intense. Well, I asked the Discord about a few questions that they wanted to ask, and I wanted to.
Cool.
I'll be popping those in throughout the.
Sure. By the way,
episode.
Shout out to the Discord. I have no idea what the fuck a Discord is. I downloaded it because people were asking me to get on it.
Yeah.
I got on it. I said hi a couple times, but I don't like revisit. So I'm sorry. I'm just bad at whatever that is. I love you guys. Thanks for giving a fuck about everything that we do.
There you go, you sons of bitches. Mm-hmm. Now you've had it. Now you got it.
Yeah.
Now you got your shout out.
There you go.
But so we got a question from Genova who says Flatland or Vert?
Oh, dang. I've always prided myself on doing everything. I used to because when I worked at the skate park, I would yell at all the kids because they would make too much out of like, I'm a street skater, I don't skate Vert. I was like, if you want to be good, do it all. Like,
yeah.
Dude, just be a skateboarder, man. I would say now in my age, I don't know, man. I if we're talking just straight up Flatland, like flip tricks, I'm gonna pick Vert. If we're talking about like maybe some curbs or something to grind or a couple little obstacles, street skating is a little more accessible. If you don't live near a ramp or something, then I would go street skating. But I think you should be well rounded no matter what.
It's always a wise idea to just experience everything so you'll know what you're best. Well, not even best at, but I don't know. You don't want to paint yourself in a corner.
Yeah, if you have to, then I get it. Like Rodney Mullen, I heard all these stories of him. I read his book like years ago, but he had basically, I think, like a barn or in the middle of nowhere, like just a piece of wood by whatever feet, by whatever. And so he got so good at Flatland freestyle tricks because he was just skating. That's all he had. So get what you can, get it where you can, and fucking, try to excel to the best of your abilities, I'd say.
Dude, it's amazing to see what he's still able to do at his age right now, because he's still ripping, right?
Oh my God, yeah. But, I've heard that his obsession with skateboarding, was like borderline, like autism, he wouldn't eat and stuff like that when his dad would take his board away. Because I think his dad was a dental surgeon or something like that. So his dad was super anti-skateboarding because he saw all these like injuries coming in day in, day out. And his dad would sort of, when he would punish him, take his board away. And that would really have an effect on his life. But it takes that sort of obsession, I guess, to be like a master like that,
Yeah, it does. So would you say that outside of comedy and music, that skateboarding was probably your first thing that you felt tied to?
Yeah. I would say I fell in love with skateboarding. I probably got my first skateboard at 12. My cousin, Aaron, her boyfriend at the time, I guess she knew I was really into it. I had friends who had boards. I never had, I couldn't they were expensive back then. My parents got me a few shitty boards from there used to be a store called, I think it was called Fedco back in the day. It was maybe I guess comparative to a Walmart or something, but they bought me a few shitty boards there, maybe at Toys R Us with the plastic trucks, and I had hand-me-downs and would steal my cousin's. But my first board that was mine was her boyfriend. He came over, he reached into his trunk, and he pulled out a World Industries Enrique Lorenzo pro model board with complete. And I remember having a bull, a cartoon of a bull, a Spanish-looking bull with a rose in its mouth, and and that was it, dude. And yeah, from 12 through, I don't skate that much anymore. I still love it. I still have a board, and it will always identify sort of who I am. And I'll never look at sort of architecture the same way ever again. Definitely my first love, through those videos, I found the music that I listened to, and through those bands, I found my sort of political beliefs and, what my morals and sort of, who informs me as a person, all probably came from that. From that to punk to hip hop to everything. It's sort of, that definitely defined my teenage years and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And now as an adult,
Dude, the music that came with that stuff was pretty incredible. It was almost as angsty as the people made you feel for doing sort of a thing like that.
Yeah.
But especially here, because I'm in the South, man, there's no, you are a fucking, you're absolute weirdo if you do anything other than drive a truck and go sit in a fucking field with a burn barrel or something.
For sure, man. We have that even 30 minutes outside of LA. You start driving outside the city, and it's raised trucks and truck nuts and tap out and all that. Which big ups, man. I love everybody. I've had some really interesting moments on tour, with people who I never would have thought I would have hung out with, and we end up having beers and fucking hanging out and having good conversations. So, but I've always been about the counterculture, dude.
Oh, absolutely. So, but you alluded to music a little bit. So, when did you start? When did you realize, okay, I get it. This is something that I understand. Because I'm a musician as well. And what was the moment where you realized, okay, this may be something that I can do? I'll go, there's probably 3 sections to that. And I had some great coffee this morning, so I'm fucking Fuck
going,
yeah.
Dude.
Caveman coffee, is that it?
Hey, you know what? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Here we are, dude.
That's right. Caveman coffee, baby.
All right, I'm back, dude. Here we go. Shout out to the great people at Caveman Coffee. Tay Fletcher, Lacey Mackey, great people.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, they're awesome. They've always supported us and stuff, and Tate's such a great dude, and Lacey's awesome. But before Kill Tony's, they drop off in a cooler a bunch, and they're awesome. Anyway, So music. I as a kid, I was always like banging on pots and pans when I was like maybe, I don't know, 2, 3. Like my babysitter would like put out all the pots and pans. Let me get those. I had another babysitter named Aaron, who was another cousin's boyfriend at the time, and he was in like rock, like I feel like hair metal bands and stuff like that. And he would babysit me every now and then, and he had a room with drums in it, and sometimes he would just like let me go in there, and I haven't had this memory in a very long time, so this is kind of cool to think about. But so he would just sort of not lock the door, but it was soundproof, and I could go in there and just hit stuff, not knowing what I was doing. Very, very young, like I want to say like 5 or 6 or something. He gave me my first guitar for Christmas. I never like had an amp. It was an electric, so I never really plugged it in, but I would always just like hold it and take pictures and feel that energy, you know. And then in middle school, I would say anywhere from like 5th grade through 8th grade was just constantly getting in trouble for tapping on the desk.
Oh, bro.
Like, all the time.
Me too.
One of my teachers, Mr. Marte, he was like, you know, I don't know if he bought me gloves or he told me to get gloves so that you couldn't hear the tapping on the desk. And when he would have enough, he'd be like, tap on your head, like, you know, like to stop. Because I'd just always be, and you know, those old metal desks where the wood is connected to the metal, where the books go underneath the chair. So that like gave you a good bass sound. Like it was almost like a cajon, you know? So I used to like fuck with that. Like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, with a pen. And, did you use a pen in one hand?
No, I never did the pen. It was always hands.
Yeah.
But I remember, you know, you got some depth on that metal thing below the
you did.
desk. But so then that was, you know, 5th through 8th grade. I get kicked out of Catholic school in the 8th grade. I go to public school, and I go to this public school in my area. My mom sent me to Catholic school because she thought it would be safer than the public schools in the area, which who knows. I got a lot of other issues from going to Catholic school as a kid that, you know, mental things now that I look back on. But, and also she worked at the LA Zoo when I was a kid, so the school was near her work, so she could get to me if she needed to or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward, I leave Catholic school and go to the public school in my area, and that's where, like, I find, like, the other punk rock kids, man. And I was like, you know, I found my, like, I was like, wow, like, you know, at the time it was one of the scariest times of my life because you're so insecure, you know, you're in this new public school, like, you know, a lot of, like, the trouble with the kids in the neighborhood that I had, like, those kids were, I would see them now all day, every day at school, like, where I would go to Catholic school, maybe see them at the park or whatever, and that was, you know, but now I was like, you know, 8th grade is a really sort of mentally tumultuous time for any kid, right? Puberty, all that.
For sure.
You're figuring out who you are as an individual. But so I found my group, you know, these punk kids. And that Christmas, my mom and dad bought me a drum set. So I remember it was this black sound percussion kid. And I set it up in my bedroom with a little speaker, and I would play to all kinds of music. My poor neighbors, I was awful. My mom started like baking bread and stuff for the neighbors so they wouldn't like call the cops and just being like, hey, like, you know. And so I think I got my kit on Christmas, December, January, February, March, April, May. And maybe 6 months after that, right before summer break, I was in the talent show with a band, like 2 bands playing. We played Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones and Journey to the End of the East Bay by Rancid. And so, and that was cool, man. That I remember, like, I like took my shirt off and the whole auditorium was like nuts. And my mom came and I was like, everybody say hi to my mom. And it was really cool. So within 6 months, I was already sort of like, I realized that I had a grip on things.
Yeah.
So there's that. Sorry, long.
No.
Story. Jesus.
No, I love it, man. No.
But I am nothing if not verbose.
Absolutely, you are. No, but seriously though, that's like, I was probably around the same way. I started playing. I do when That Thing You Do came out. That movie, just
cool.
That thing, like, and I'm from a long line of musicians, but that was the thing. Cool. When I saw that do clack 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 that thing, and I was like, okay, so I could do this. And I started playing drums first, but I picked up guitar shortly after, and I'm not good at drums at all. But
yeah,
it was like guitar was one of those things where I was like, oh shit. So it's almost like, you know, you can, they say you learn a language when you can think in it.
Yeah.
And whenever you can play without your instrument, I feel like you figured it out, and that was sort of my introduction to that. So it's nice to hear your journey to that. So
to take that back to skateboarding, I've heard people say about certain skateboarders that they're more awkward. They're more normal on the board than off. Like they're, you know, more coordinated and stuff like that, which is interesting. You know, that's the playing without your instrument thing. It's just sort of like, you know, you're not really playing the instrument. I don't know. Back to you in the studio.
Back to you in the studio, Tony. After a while, your instrument starts to play you. You know. But I've found. But so yes, and by the way, I should have said all this at the beginning, but I didn't. So for those not aware, I do have a fuckload of people who enjoy and watch Kill Tony who absolutely have been stoked for this coming. But for those who are not aware, Brother Joelberg here was actually pulled from the bucket on Kill Tony in year 1 or year 2 of the show, or somewhere around there, and ended up becoming literally some of our favorite like moments of the show are, you know, moments that you've created, and that's pretty incredible to think that you've literally like you're everybody's hero, man. You got pulled out of the bucket. You got pulled out of the bucket, and now you are the show in a way at a lot of times. And how does that feel to know that like this was just a weird, like, I know you were playing with Patty at the time. You were already playing with Baby Boys then. And so how does that feel to know that this was just like a random fucking happenstance, and now that it is such an, you know, like, intense part of your life? How does that feel?
Oh, it's crazy, dude. I don't think about it until people... I mean, I do, but you know what used to freak me the fuck out was going through the process of if I zigged when I should have zagged, or somehow I didn't end up there, or where the fuck my life would be right now. But yeah, dude, it was cool. It's fucking it's crazy. I would say that I never really thought of it as work for a long time because it's so fun, and even now I don't. But so when I look back at the journey, I go like, damn, like I worked really, really hard to be there, and I sacrificed a lot, and that's really what it is, man. I just like drums or with anything, it's like when I realize I love something, I'm willing to do whatever I want, like, to get it. Like I last night I was thinking how much I like hate work, but it's not work. It's really just work that I don't have like an emotional connection to. So I'm literally, I would, you know, of course this is hyperbolic, but also maybe not. Like I'm willing to die for it. Like I will, I mean, figuratively, like break my back, like all the hard work that we do for the show. It doesn't feel like it when you're in it, but I look back now and I go like, wow, it's been a long journey, dude. Like 4, maybe 5 years now that I've been on the show. Yeah. And it's interesting, dude. It really is just hard work and constantly sharpening that blade. And yeah, I don't know. I could talk about it forever, but you know.
No, I totally understand what you mean, man. This and we've got folks in the comments over here, backflipping maniac.
That's funny. I was just gonna say that real quick. Is you know, and I've referenced this a million times, and I hope that I'm pulling it from the right book. But Steve Martin's book, Born Standing Up, he says that when you do stand up, you will use everything that you have ever learned in your life. And so, you know, as a kid, my mom would take me to the Goodwill, and I had a costume box, and I would do, you know, perform for her and stuff like that. And I had all these costumes. So now I'm doing that. You know, I was drumming. I was backflipping, you know, all the time when I was a kid. I grew up a block away from a rec center, and they had sand pits there, and so I used to practice backflipping off the swings and then off the equipment, and then I got good at that. And I used to be able to do it off flat ground, but now my knees are shot. So backflips, and then when I was in a punk band, I would like backflip off the stage and stuff like that. And
you kind of have to, right?
Yeah, you gotta go fucking nuts, dude. But that and I did theater and improv and stand up, so everything just sort of like was just this ball of all that. Yeah.
Now, I noticed on Brothers in Cursive, you got a little, it may have been Brothers in Cursive, it may have been Secret Show, I can't remember. It was something at Red Band Studio, but when they were playing your theater videos, and you were...
he does, fucking Brian, dude. I don't ever want to, like, bring it up around him again, because he'll, like, go... I think it was Brothers in Cursive, and then I think it was on Holtzman's show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Holtzman. I love that guy, too, man.
Brian Holtzman, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you know what it is? It's like live theater doesn't transfer well to video. Like it's just like some stand-up specials. Like there are comics that I love in the room, and by no fault of their own, but just sometimes it doesn't transfer to video, you know? And even whatever, like I've had clips where I thought it felt really good on stage, and then I watch and I'm like, it like didn't transfer. But I guess I just get it. That is the part of the thing where I was like, well, of course it's going to look cheesy on video. And also I was just in a different time of my life. The interview context was different. It wasn't sort of this free flowy thing. It was this interview to cut this thing. So it just kind of looks cheesy sometimes, but I'm not ashamed of my theater days. Like I think that was, you know, growing up, I was lucky to have a lot of friends that were musicians. I always wanted to like act. And now I found out like my whole life I wanted to be a comedian, and I just never had that sort of outlet. And so,
yeah.
So I'm proud of it. So later on in my life, I got into theater and all that, and that led me ultimately on this path to become a stand-up. And so I'm very grateful for it. I'm grateful for the people that believed in me and put me in stuff. So
yeah, man. And I thought about this earlier when you were talking. Shout out to your mom for baking bread for the neighbors. Like I've heard you talk about your mom a lot and how supportive she's been of you on all of this stuff. So shout out to your mom, man. That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my dad. Both of them. You know, they're just supportive in different ways. You know, like my mom is definitely more sort of, you know, whatever. I guess like any parents, like my mom's sort of more emotionally connected to me. Like you know, she's been the one there when I'm in the dumps and really like struggling. And my dad also, but just in a different way. He's a little more old school, real tough. You know, sort of like a little more macho, but he's always supported me. Sort of the way he, you know, whatever. He probably paid for a lot of the early drum equipment. Yeah. And I remember, you know, wanting these cymbals and being in a Guitar Center. My mom calling my dad like, "Hey, can we do this?" Like, sort of figuring out in their books and stuff if we had the money to afford these certain things, and you know, dropping me off at practices. And my dad would always sort of show off things that I did. If I was in some magazine or something, would show off to his friends that I was doing it. But yeah, shout out to my parents, man. I'm very lucky in that sense. We're like,
that's great, man.
Yeah. Should love to hear that though. I'll send her a clip of that.
Hell yeah, dude. Shout out Momberg and Dadberg.
That's right.
So Danosaur had a pretty interesting question. He said, when Tony and Jeremiah fight, whose side do you take?
I plead the fifth. No, I don't take side. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the argument. Usually, I'll side with whoever's the funniest. On the show, it's like if Jeremiah interrupting Tony is funny, I'll of course like I get why it would Tony would be like, don't do that, but also I also believe that comedy over everything. So whose side do I take? It depends on the situation, man.
Yeah.
I see both sides, you know.
I'll tell you this. I love seeing the commitment. Jeremiah's commitment to the bit is pretty incredible. As is yours. As is yours. Like, you guys are just, I love it when especially Bill Billingsley, because Bill Billingsley gives zero fucks.
Oh man, I had a night in Phoenix as Bill Billingsley one time. It was wild, dude. But sometimes, that shit gets kind of wild. But I like it. You know, part of that is like tapping into that shit and really doing the sort of like method acting fucking thing. You know. But sometimes I gotta fucking put the reins on it.
Yeah. I'm fucking my secretary.
That's right. Jeremiah commits like no other though, dude. I love the guy.
Yeah, man. Jeremiah's hilarious, and I love watching you guys interaction. And I also give big ups to Tony for allowing folks enough rope do whatever it is they want to do with it. You know, he and I noticed it a lot back in the early days in the belly room days with him and Patty Reagan, when Pat would just try things all the time.
For sure. Yeah,
he would
pretty much gives us 100% pure creative freedom. The only sort of new things that we deal with are just technical things about, you know, pushing the show along. You know, nothing really to do with what we're doing creatively. He's never stifled any sort of like creative choice. Most of it has to do with what's that word, like logistical sort of things, as far as like the just things like that. But he's been great, man.
Now, my buddy Valish, who actually provided the drum set for La Jolla.
Oh, cool! That dude's cool, man. What a beautiful kit, the orange sparkle one.
Yeah. He is great. He's the best of us here in Discord. He said he's wondering how the anxieties feel ramping up for a drum off, or like, because I know that you've had a fuckload of them, but and by the way, you'll never lose a drum off. And also, I wanted to add right here before I go any further that you were mentioning that you'll watch some things back and you'll notice that it didn't land so well. And dude, in the Discord or at home, we'll be fucking howling at that shit. I love that. So just know that a lot of the times when when you feel like it's missed, you haven't.
I like that too. Me and Jeremiah talk about that too. How like there's a couple lives to the podcast. You know, there's the audio, there's the video, there's the live. So yeah, my favorite thing is getting tweets going like, "Hey man, just to let you know, I heard that. That was funny." Oh yeah. So, yeah. I love it. The anxiety leading up to a drum battle. I mean, you know, it's fucking weird, man. It's very, very. Sometimes it's weird, like starting the show, because I can't even like chill, which is kind of maybe good, but like every single person that comes up, like I go, you know, is this gonna be it? Some people come up, they look like musicians and they don't play, but I'm already like, fuck, this guy's gonna play drums. Sometimes people will come up and give me a look like that, and I go, all right, here we go. Or they've hit me up on Instagram, so I know what they look like, and when they get called, I'm like, here it is. But you know, I guess the best you know, it's weird. It's super nerve-wracking, man. Just to be fully honest, it's insane, because I never know what the fuck they're gonna bring. There literally are 3-year-olds on YouTube who are amazing drummers technically, you know, like just technically speaking, there will always be someone better than me, because I am, you know, it's like I do what I do, but I'm not this sort of virtuoso. Like I see people tagging professional, like the cream of the crop on YouTube, like, or on Instagram, like, yo, mostly start like to come, you should battle him, and I'm already like, all right, you guys realize like I'm a comedian, right? Like, you know, but so the anxiety is fucking high because I don't know what it is. So what I've started to do is just sort of like, I walk away. I try not to really listen to what they're even doing. Like I'd almost rather put earplugs and be in a box and not even know what's going on the stage. Because when I hear the audience cheering and I hear them going nuts or going off, I'm like, fuck. But a couple things. I had a pretty gnarly one against 2 people in one night, which was, you know, sort of the beginning of the Purple Dildo thing. Yeah. And they were amazing, man. Shout out to Anthony Drinkwater, who's runs sound at the Comedy Store when our buddy Danny can't make it. But he's dude, this guy is like next level, dude. Like when I watched the video back of him doing his fills, I was like, that's incredible. But I'll up it with just commitment and sort of insanity where, like, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm willing to do, but I'll go into this sort of like numb state when I get out there. But so that night kind of helped me realize that my commitment to the comedy and sort of insanity, I don't know if anybody can really hold a candle to that. We'll see. I mean, people have been sort of doing things now where people have showed up with dildos, people have showed up with crazy sort of things. I also think that that stage is sort of our office where I have been there. You know, it's like it's where we're at every week, where other people, they think they got it, and then they get up there and the lights are a lot brighter than they thought they would be. The people are watching them, whatever. My kid is set up a certain way. They start to sort of realize it's a different animal. And I think about this Mike Tyson thing he's always said, where like when he was walking to the ring, he was just so scared. He was like, it was full fear. He's like all the way up to the thing, and then as soon as he walks into when he gets into the ring, he's like, I am a god. Yeah. And so it's just like, you know, I'm not saying I'm a god, but it's obviously, but it's that thing. It's like fear, and then as soon as I grab the sticks and it's time to go, I'm willing. I just turn it off and I go to a different place, I guess, mentally. So it's just sort of like a trance sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
Well, it's also, too, you've done it enough to where it's sort of not saying that you're just going through the motions, but you do have home field advantage. Like, you know.
I'll say this, though. It doesn't matter if I've done it a million times. Every time it happens, it sort of feels like the first time. It's very nerve-wracking. Yeah. But whatever, you know, you got to just, what are you going to do? You fucking fight or flight. I can't run from it. What if they called me out and I wasn't there anymore? It's like, that's it. I got to fucking just do it, man. I don't know. So there's really no sort of method to the madness. It just sort of like, once the snowball starts going, I just start going. I'm backstage looking for things to do. It's really improvisational at its core. Is like, I'm backstage at the Comedy Store looking for whatever. There's a blow up doll there. Okay, I got that. And sometimes I'll bring, you know, sparklers with me or whatever. I got this thing. You know, there was a moment where I was chokeslammed through the table by Todd Royce. I don't know if I'm sure you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that was I brought that piece of wood and everything. That was going to be during a drum battle where, like, I'm battling, blah, 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 and I end up, like, just chokeslamming myself through the table. So I had the piece of wood there for weeks. And then when Todd showed up, I was like, maybe tonight's the night. Like, let's do this. So, yeah.
Iconic, man. You've been part of so many iconic moments of the show, dude. Like, I would say that if there were like a top 10, you'd probably be in half of them.
That'd be cool. That's awesome, man. So, greatest moments of my life, really, also too. You know, a lot of them. It's cool that some of the best moments on a show also mirror the best moments of my life. Oh yeah,
well, it's some of the better moments of our life too, because we're fucking miserable people that just we do nothing but sit and watch things on YouTube. Amazing things on YouTube, by the way, and now especially. We got nothing else to do, and in the Discord we watch old episodes every night except for Monday. So cool. We've been watching. We started at episode 1. We're close to episode 200 now.
By the way, where do you guys find those? Because the amount of messages I get that people can't find the old episodes is insane.
There is a fan account that was created for the first 148 episodes. I think.
Is that Octung Fernglass?
Yeah, he has a lot of
them. Cool.
The Octung Fernglass, cool. and awesome. There's also a Kill Tony. It's called Kill Tony fan page, I think, on YouTube, and they have them set up in playlists by 10.
Cool.
But whenever we started doing it, Tony actually messaged me on Twitter and was curious about how we were doing them and stuff like that, and he was like, cool. Wondering if it would take views away from Kill Tony, and I was like, no, we're just watching the old episodes, and as soon as we get to the Kill Tony videos, we'll obviously switch over to Kill Tony channel. But I think he was also curious about Monday nights too, and I was like, yeah, we take Mondays off because obviously there's something better on then. But
cool.
So, how do you Teft was at from Discord is wondering, how do you choose your moments as far as jokes? Is it sort of do you sort of is it sort of as the moment has passed, or do you sometimes try to sneak one in at the end before the end, like even after Tony moves on, or
there's no real timing. It's
grab it before it's gone.
Yeah, when I first started the show, I was saying the show. Let's see, those things in movies where somebody's still and everything's going around them so fast. Say they're in a subway station, someone's sitting on a bench, but you see people just moving, everything else is sped up around them. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
When I first got on, it was I was there and just watching this shit move, and as time went on, it started slowing down, then it got to normal speed, and then now I'm moving faster than everything else is sort of slowed down. So it feels through practice and through being there constantly has made, you can kind of see through the matrix now, where now the show doesn't move as fast in my mind, and I'm sure in everybody else's. And so really you're just looking for any sort of second of nobody talking to sort of go, and also eye contact. We found that characters that have masks on, or even for me, even clear fake glasses, sometimes too much of it sounds dumb, but too much of a barrier between my eyes and Jeremiah's or Tony's, to just sort of like eye contact is so important.
Yeah.
But and I still fuck up, I still over talk, and this Monday I made a joke. Somebody said something about something, and I said gold bond, and then I thought of a better joke like 2 seconds later, and I whispered it, and Tony was like, "Why'd you whisper?" It wasn't that the joke wasn't good, it was that I had just made a gold bond joke, so you just miss it, you know? Sometimes you miss it.
Yeah. I've noticed too that because I fuck around with stand up a little bit, and or even just situational comedy, like sitting around with your friends. If you think of something funny, sometimes you just have to grab it right then, or else it's gone forever. And
it's like trusting that instinct too, sometimes, which I don't. That's when I'll get in my car and be like, "Fuck, like you should have said it, man." But sometimes you second guess. You're like, "This could bomb, this could whatever." And I've had a few. You just never know, dude. I used to be real scared to bomb on the show, and then started watching, even my heroes and stuff would throw out jokes that kind of didn't work, and it wasn't that the joke wasn't good, it was just timing or the moment or whatever. That's how I started talking on the show. Was like, I would think of jokes, I would whisper them to Pat, and he would say them, but the timing had already moved too far, and it wasn't in my voice, so that they didn't really work. It wasn't really Pat or the joke. And that was another weird thing, was when I didn't have a mic, I almost had to have timing before the timing, because I would stand up and then they'd be like, "This better be good," and then by the time I got to the mic, the moment had passed, so I'd have to sort of start my thinking before that. It was weird, so, but I don't know.
The most important 4 words in comedy: the moment is past.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, you think I'd get the hint at this point?
No.
Just, I'm kidding.
And by the way, your moment never passes. And I remember the first episode I watched was the Ron White episode where you guys were the blue collar comedy guys.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
And that was my introduction to the show. And dude, I'm from South Carolina, dude. The blue collar comedy guys, they were the first guys who sounded like me that were doing comedy. I was always I was a BET guy. I was a Comic View guy.
For sure.
I was huge into Cedric and Bernie and all of those guys and the Kings of Comedy. And then whenever the Blue Collar Comedy Tour came out, I was like, oh shit, these guys fucking sound like me. And
for sure. Yeah, I was Jeff Foxworthy was so big when I was a kid. Me and my mom used to be in the car driving somewhere doing the redneck jokes. It's she was huge. So
Oh yeah.
And to Ron White is the best, dude. I have a photo from some night. I was wearing my gold leotard, and we were taking the cast photo at the end, and he walked up to me, put his arm around me and hand on my chest, and I was like, this is fucking awesome, Or if he pours you a glass of the number one, it's it's so great, dude.
You've made it then.
Dude, he's awesome, man. Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. So, Matt Rorschach wants to know, what are the challenges of making new characters or adding on characters to existing ones now that Jessie is a part of the band?
Honestly, she's really taken the ball and ran with it. She's will say whatever it is, and she's more than happy to go figure out whatever her version of that is. The mafia thing we just did, and she took it upon herself to we'll throw out stuff. I think maybe, I can't remember if she came up with it or Jeremiah, but he's like, maybe you could be, mafia, either a wife or a mom. And so she was like, I think I'll do the mom. And she's real good at getting characters together and stuff. And we've been friends with Jessie forever. So I think she we vetted her pretty hard for a few years before we really brought her in. So yeah, it's probably, it's pretty easy. It's not work, or else she wouldn't be a part of the band.
Oh yeah, and she's very good. She's adapted very well. She seems like she's been with you guys since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I know that we're, and I don't want to keep you too awful long. We'll try to keep this somewhere near an hour, and we're nearing it. But I do want to get a couple of more of these. So Mew wants to know what has helped you ease your anxiety in life, and like how are you keeping a handle on like your mental health at a time, especially like this? And
yeah.
What are your tricks?
I don't know. It's a struggle, dude. It's fucking, and it's day to day. Cause some days I find if I eat the wrong things, it fucks me up. If I'm drinking a lot or whatever, that fucks me up. If I'm doing, so I just gotta like check in with myself. Like last night I fucking, and this is crazy, but like last night I just like, had a lot of water. I made some sweet ass chai tea. I fucking made a dope ass Italian hoagie. I sat up and watched The Outsider on HBO. Went to bed early. It's like laughing. Is really good. I'm not gonna sit here and like be like everything's great, because it's like,
oh sure,
it's like my mind is my worst enemy, and I'm constantly thinking. But like
same here.
Just trying to like make better choices, man. Really better choices in life, because I know that if I go to bed early and I sleep well, I'm gonna feel better the next day. If I eat better, I'm gonna feel better the next day. If I don't know, man. I've been pretty good in this quarantine. I get a little bit sad, every now and then. I would say I'm maybe 40%. I don't know. I don't even want to get into percentages.
Yeah,
but it's like I'm like 60 to 80% good on every day. I'll have my little 5-minute moments where I'm like, damn, it's sad or this and that, but I kind of shake it off. It's been a little bit since I've been in like a real rough spot, but I miss jiu-jitsu a lot. That was like the one sort of thing that was really keeping me good on a daily basis. I don't know, man. Checking in. I'll say this: beyond any sort of exercise or eating or taking care of yourself, being sort of grateful for what I have and trying to give to other people, whatever that is, whether it's my time or physical things or giving a gift here. It doesn't even have to be anything big. It could be like a fucking even just giving a text message of a good vibe, saying to my friend, how are you, or whatever, reaching out, sort of like, not that that's giving. I'm not saying like, I think like a text from me is like a gift, but just being grateful and being of service. I would say whatever the hell that means to you is, I've found that on a daily basis, if I can do those things, that is something that really sort of helps me feel better, man. Like, whatever that is. So,
yeah, man.
That's that.
That, and I dude, man, my mind is my own worst enemy, dude. It's just every single time I will just, and you know what's great is the thing that is awful about it is also great about it, because you're constantly prepared for anything.
I agree.
But it fucking kind of sucks, and
it's also for comedy or for music. It's like that's where the creative juice comes from. Right. But it's also like, when that stuff's not clicking, it's fucking. Yeah. I sometimes sit with myself and I go like, why can't I turn it off? And I can't, dude. Like, I'll have moments where I'm kind of calming it down, and I gotta meditate. All my friends tell me this. I haven't gotten into it, but I'm a full believer in all that. I just haven't, because there's this weird thing where I'm like, what do you mean, like more quiet time with myself? Like, that's not good, because I didn't have time. I got the phone on, I got the TV. You know what I have been doing is trying, and I fuck up, more often than not, but fully waking up before I reach for my phone and go to Instagram or Twitter or anything. I'll oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I cut out. I'm gonna plug my. I don't round up, but my phone's gonna die if I don't. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You're good.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Let me turn it. Yeah, you got. Wait.
Yep.
What the fuck? Good.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. All right, I can't really hear you, but let's see. All right.
You got it. Yes.
Yes. All right. Enjoy it. Been. Let me wake up, go like read a book, or go like watch something on TV before I reach for that hit of Instagram.
Dude, it's so hard to not live inside your telephone, especially now, because I've talked to a lot of my my folks in the Discord about this. Is like one of the things that they don't talk to you about in this time is how used we, and not to be narcissistic, but when you do a good job, like I'm a decent musician, and I mean you're a fucking fantastic comedian and performer, and whenever you're used to hearing people say, "Hey man, good job, that was fucking killer," like multiple times a week, then to remove that constant gratification that you get from performing is fucking murder. And not many people talk about that.
Dude, that feel that, and we all know that too much heroin is bad. So it's like,
oh yeah,
it's like fucking. That's something I've been, it's like, well, who are we if we're not getting that praise? This is like super like removed from myself, but it's like, what is the Joelberg thing? Am I Joelberg if nobody's chanting Joelberg? Am I Joelberg without this thing? Who am I when everything is stripped away, when I'm here like at home? But today is like, I'm making dinner. Like I got excited. Like, I roasted some garlic. I'm doing like garlic mashed potatoes. I'm going to make some chicken later. Like, giving love and being with, petting the cats and sort of like maybe even cleaning the house. It's like, just that, how do you survive when you are just that, when everything is like stripped away? And really we have to learn how to be comfortable in those moments, because all this other shit is fleeting, and it's great and it's really good, and we are creating or making people happy with our art and stuff, but you need to be happy like within your own self and with the small things and telling people you love them and stuff. But it's interesting, man. I think that all that sort of instant gratification and the likes and stuff can be a drug, and I find myself doing it. I find myself when I'm down or I'm alone, I go, let me put a picture on Instagram, let me see what that, let me get some interaction with people like this thing, whatever. And it's interesting, man. But so I've been trying to sort of let me wake up, let me like fully be awake before I go to that thing. Let me be Joel as a person and a human, and breathe in and see the sun and whatever before I turn that thing on, so I can have my armor on. Because if I'm half awake, I'm not ready to get all of that yet. I don't think,
And I think that's a form of meditation. I think that 100% is a form of meditation. It's funny you brought up jiu-jitsu was a thing that you were, really, really getting into, especially to keep you grounded, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But Valish actually asked about, I'm not sure, ask him about his go-to shit in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Cool. So, I say guillotine, man. I'm short. I'm trying to guillotine people. I watch. That's giving too much secrets. But it's like I'm not that great. I'm very new to it. I'd say maybe haven't been doing it that long. But yeah. I mean, I would say I try to guillotine people. If you watch for that sort of like, whatever. People don't watch their and whatever. I get fucking submitted more than I've ever submitted anybody. Like. My buddy Ryan, like I always make a joke because he's always getting me in a rear naked.
Yeah.
He's always taking my back, and every time he takes it, I go, I'm gonna start having the postal service send my letters here because I live here now. Like he's just always taking my back. But I think that's part of just with comedy. It's like bombing makes you better. So my whole game in jiu-jitsu, I would say, is all just mostly survival. And I'll catch somebody if I catch them slipping. But that's been whack that the gym's been closed, but I understand why. And for me, I'm not a guy who can go on YouTube and sort of like maybe I will as I get bored more, but like I can't do the jiu-jitsu stuff at home alone. I need to be in the gym. I need to be in that class. I need in order to like focus. But yeah, that I love. What do I do? I used to have like a I don't even know what a lot of the moves are called, but I like guillotines. Those are cool. I learned a cool like standing one. That's pretty dope. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it, man. Whatever. It's a whole other like subject. And I also feel that because I'm so new to it, like I don't want to sound like a complete idiot when I'm talking about it, because there are people that know so much more about jiu-jitsu. It can get so in depth that I'll just say I love it and it's really fun to do and I miss it. I can't wait to get back to it. It's really good for my brain, I think.
How long do you foresee this shit lasting?
I don't know, man. I think I have no idea. Fucking I don't know. We'll see. I think if they can get a vaccine or more tests, I think that's when they'll be able to open up stuff, because then at least we can test people and know what's going on. And if we have a vaccine, we could probably all just like go back to it at that point, because then if you get sick, you just get the vaccine or
right.
Start vaccinating. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about the science of it all.
Me neither, man.
Yeah.
All I know is that and I'm a professional musician. That's my only job. Like I play music for a living, and dude, there's nowhere for me to work. So, when you lose like 100% of your income, and thankfully there are like certain grants or funds for artists and things like that, hopefully will help us all out. But who fucking knows how long this thing's going to last for. But I will say this, that I'm fucking stoked that whoever came up with the idea to do the Better Box studio and to continue to keep the ball rolling, that was so genius. Because we were, and not to be a fucking nerd about it, but a lot of us in the Discord use Kill Tony to like take us away from the nonsense of everything that's going on. And when we thought that we wouldn't have that, it was like, fuck, what do we do now?
Yeah, for sure. I get it, dude. I have my things like that where you got to turn it off, at some point. So that's like, I'm not really sure exactly what came into doing that. I know like Tony was adamant on like keeping it going somehow. We were all just trying to figure out how to keep the brand alive. We were going to do it in the OR at the Comedy Store first, and that got shut down. Then the Ice House, and then that got shut down, and then Better Box, shout out to Gino from Speedweed. He's been like a supporter from the beginning, man, and every week he's there. And it's been cool, man. I struggled a lot with that. I was like, is this just thinking about doing it, but it seems like the messages that we've gotten from people who are either working in a grocery store all night or really like out there sort of really struggling out there, I've gotten some nice messages saying that we're really helping them get through this sort of rough time. So to me, it's like, it's kind of essential, I think. Yeah. That's it, dude. It's good for me too to fucking, get out and see everybody and like, so it's been cool, man. It's when it all started, it was like, to be honest, I'm a soldier for this show, and whatever the captain says, whatever the fucking the leaders say, I'm gonna be there, dude. Like, I'm ready to fucking reporting for duty, so
fucking ain't right, you are.
I know I fucking you gotta dance with the girl you came with, man. So,
that's right. Man, you have so many of these fucking great. You got to dance with the girl you came with. A rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah. It's funny, man. I was real bad at school, and I remember I was in a math class, like a special ed math class, and our teacher's aide was in that class, and I feel like he was a little more like maybe like sort of streetwise kind of guy, and he was in there, so he would grade papers and kind of come in. He seemed like maybe like an ex like cholo sort of turned his life around or something like that. And I was like working with kids. Yeah. But I remember in the middle of class sometimes me and him we'd go back with those phrases. The grass is always greener. There's something, this and that. But I've always loved those things, man, because I feel like cliches and all that shit, like as dumb as they are, there's a reason why they're out there. And if you really, a lot of them are good, man. They make you check in and sort of like remember that. And I feel that they've kept me fucking going. When my mom's always been a believer of that. I remember going through breakups, and she would always say, if you can get over death, you can get over life. And I was like, all right, that's good. Like, you're right. She's always hitting me with those things. My mom is one of the strongest human beings I've ever known. My dad as well. But they've just sort of, they've struggled in their lives and sort of. And are still struggling. Like, they've got their health issues and stuff, but are overall extremely positive people. And even when they're going through their own sort of depression or whatever they're going through, kind of don't ever let me know, and kind of keep this shield of like everything is all right. And so I've always sort of looked to them for a bit of comfort. And I think that those phrases kind of can provide a little bit of comfort.
Of course they do, man. And What's great is that one thing that I heard you say once about, and at the end of every show, when everybody's like, Joelberg, anything else? And you're like, nope, thank you guys so much, love you, mean it. That means so much that you rarely ever take the opportunity to, like, I would say most everybody else kind of plugs things at the end.
Yeah.
And you are very like, nope, thank you guys so much, like, for giving me this opportunity, basically. And that's what I hear when you say that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, maybe I need more things to do to promote. Maybe people start booking me on shit. No, I'm just kidding.
No, man.
But yeah, dude, I really do, man. I got basically not plucked from obscurity, but kind of. I was fucking a couple years ago just like working at the skate park and not knowing where the hell my life was going, and even before that, just in my teens, like sort of no direction, maybe a little bit of music here and there, but like yeah, dude, it's fucking, I'm so grateful that people care about what we're doing, and people say it all the time, but I feel like it's sort of a thing that people just say now, but I really mean it, that without the fans, like there would be nothing to do, because who would watch it? So, I really appreciate it. I love all you guys. Thanks to everybody. I mean, like, that's something, and maybe that's something that keeps me going every day. It's like, and that's weird because it does teeter into that sort of like Instagram likes sort of thing. But I think the overall sort of love and respect and like admiration for what we're doing, not admiration, that's a bad word, but just the respect and the people caring about what we do. And, I meet people online that I also, I admire what they're doing. I try to connect with other artists and stuff like that. And like, so all the love really does keep me going. I'm really, really appreciative to it. And that's why we fucking suit up and try to give it our all and give you guys 100% to give you guys something to watch and turn your brains off to.
Hell yeah. Well, I have one more question that I saved to the very end for an obvious reason.
Love it.
Are you sick of having people talk about your dick yet?
I mean, you know what? Shout out to my bullies as a kid. Shout out to the girl that passed me in high school and said I wasn't shit. No, whatever. It's all good, man. It's like, that's the other thing with the drug. There will always be somebody with a bigger dick. But,
man.
Until then.
Until then.
There's worse things to have people talk about.
That's so good, man. That's so good. Well, Brother Joel, fucking A, I really appreciate you doing this, man. Like, I didn't expect you to be so kind and cool about this, man. You're a legend, bro. And I speak on behalf of the Kill Tony Discord, and I guess Kill Tony fan base, dude. We fucking love you, man, and we fucking appreciate you and everything that you bring to the show and our lives.
Thank you, man. I love you guys too, man. Thank you. Yeah, this was fun, dude. Good talking to you. I mean, it's interesting now that we're all in quarantine, but I've sort of, it's nice. I've had long talks with people who I don't really have long talks with, and it's like the internet can be a really great thing if used properly. So it's like, it's really nice to like have this sort of, well, what did we talk? An hour and 10. I was really trying to before we started. I'm like, let me be present. Let me just sort of take this in for a moment. So you've given me a chance to sort of get out of whatever my day was. So thank you, man. Thanks for your time, and to all the fans out there, we really love you. Thank you for checking in with us, man.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for doing this, buddy. So please go to screwballwhiskey.com, SKREW ballwhiskey.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hell yeah, send me some of that.
You want some screwball whiskey? I'll get you some screwball whiskey. Tomorrow's stories begin right here, Screwball Whiskey. Kill Tony every Monday night on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or Pacific Time. Shit, where am I? 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Monday night on YouTube, Kill Tony. And if you guys want to watch Kill Tony every night, we watch it at Kill Tony Hour, 8 p.m. every night, and the Kill Tony Discord. So if you guys want to join that, by all means do that. And I guess that's all I got for you. Joelberg, thanks again, buddy.
Shout out to Ludwig Drum. Wait, go ahead, what?
Ludwig Drums, that's right. Fucking A. Ludwig Drum official artist, Ringo Starr. My favorite band is the Beatles. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing that you got me.
I can't believe it, dude. Shout out to Ludwig. Shout out to all my sponsors. Shout out to everybody who's fucking had our back and given us something when we didn't have nothing, man.
Absolutely. Fucking ain't right. So, in a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Yeah. It's not that fucking hard.
That's right. Be the change you want to see.
That's right. Be the change you want to see. All right, guys. Y'all be good people out there. Peace, bitches.